Welcome back to the Brew Garage. What we've got here is the Beer Torrent My Brewery. Now, this is the newer version of the Ace that I've already got. You've already seen me do a detailed review of the Ace. If you haven't seen that, I'll pop a link up, and it's probably worth you checking that full in-depth review out. What I'm going to do in this one, I'm going to focus more on the differences between the original V1 and the new one, which has had some updates done to it. The main update and the biggest update that's been done is the controller, and we'll get into that on a brew session. But for now, what we're going to do, I'm just going to run you through all the bits you get in the box. Like I said, this version of the machine has come from Beer Torrent. There's a link to them down the bottom. And full disclosure, whilst they've offered to upgrade my old V1 for me to this, they haven't given me a free machine. I'm not beholden to them to give it a good review or any restrictions like that placed on me. What you're going to get from this review is exactly what it is. I'm not going to beat about the bush. If you've seen my V1 review, you'll know that I'm not above pointing out any issues there are. At the end of the day, I set out to make the video that I wish I could have seen before I bought that machine. And this one's going to be exactly the same for you. So, first off, this is what you get. These parts over here, these are part of their extras pack. So just double check before you buy, make sure you're picking up the right package for you and that you've got the bits you want. So, 300 mesh hop spider. I would recommend anyone brewing on the Ace uses a hop spider. One of the main issues people have had with the machine, because there's no filter on the pump, if you just dump loose hops in there and then try and pump out or use the pump will clog up. You use one of these, I've never had any problem with the pump clogging up or blocking up or anything. So if you're brewing on the Beer Torrent, Ace, Klarstein, Hopcat, all different names for the same physical machinery, I believe Ace have stopped importing them now. One of these, definitely. So it's great that Beer Torrent throw one of these in, because honestly, you'll want one. It's not compulsory. You can do loose hops as long as you don't expect to use the pump. So you wouldn't be able to pump out, you wouldn't be able to use the pump to recirculate whilst chilling or anything like that. That's your choice. The other thing is a stainless steel immersion chiller with proper clamps, hoses, and not only that, you've got quick releases. The quick releases. What's it? I can't remember the name for them off the top of my head. Mental block or what? But they're the decent ones, not the quick disconnects. They're cam locks. That's it. And it comes with hose burbs for your inlet and outlet hose. So that is my favoured method of chilling anyway, is an immersion chiller. It's a lot easier to clean than a plate chiller. There's no messing around with it. There's no having to sanitize it or anything. Quick blast off with the hose when you finish. Quick rinse under the tap before you bung it in. Leave it in 5 minutes. Sanitized in boiling water. Job done. Dead simple. You also get an extra quick disconnect and length of hose. Now this is just in case you do have any issues with the pump, which is, you can see this pipe here. The pump's built into the base down here. It pumps out here and over the top. You can put this on the top to either back flush and clean your pump out after use if you want. You can use it to blow down if you do somehow clog it up during use. So that's a nice handy addition as well. And the other addition in the extras pack is a big long bazooka. Now this one can be fitted behind the tap there if you use the tap for emptying it afterwards. If you brew with the machine on the floor, you're going to have to pump out anyway, but that's all down to your brew room setup. Me, I brew with it on the floor and I just pump out into a fermenter. But if you brew with it on a stand of some sort, that will probably be quite handy, because then you can just use the tap to pump out. So what else is there? The only other thing that I didn't get with my original one is this. Now this is a spare elbow that goes inside for the pump. So for whatever reason, if you end up having to take the pump out, I've never had to do it on my one, but if you ever had to take the pump out or anything, or if this breaks or anything like that, you've got a spare elbow. That comes with the clamps to seal it on and everything as well. So I didn't get that in my original one. And the other change is this. Now this is just a nut that covers the top of the pipe. So when you're pouring all your ingredients into the malt pipe there, you just pop that nut on the top of there to stop any grain going down into the bottom of the brewer. On the old version that was plastic, on the new version that's metal. So that's the changes. Other than that, things are much the same. It is still the 2-pert malt pipe that you can join together to basically make 3 different lengths. So you can have just that bit on the bottom and have a short one, have just that bit and have a medium one, or join them together and have a long one. This is still one of the areas where this falls behind the grain further. With the grain further, you've got an adjustable pipe where you can literally pull it up, fill up your malt pipe, and then just push the pipe down until it's the right level, so you're not having to overfill that malt pipe too much. Whereas this one, you haven't got that option. It's one of those 3 fixed lengths. That's the only choice you've got. I've been told that at some point in some future version that may change, but that is still how it is currently. So what else do you get? As standard, you get a small bazooka. Now this one's got to be what? Half the size of the other one? So the other one comes actually already made with a nut to go on the back of the tap and everything. The one you actually get as standard doesn't have that on the end. You just have to force the open end of the bazooka filter over the back of the tap and clamp it on with the Jubilee clip. Again, like I say, I pump out. I don't use the tap for anything, so I haven't even used that one for my old one. So this is the same as before. It's a funny sized pipe there, so if you're used to using 1/2-inch silicone hose or anything, you won't get a tight fit round there if you try to use that to extend it. The handle's still exactly the same. about the only real assembly you have to do when you get it out the box is these two little handles have got two tiny little screws. You just screw them on either side and that's your handles then to lift the top mesh out of your malt pipe. So dead simple assembly. I've heard people talking in other videos about how the grills, these parts on the grain feather, are so much more superior than on these machines. I'm telling you now, this is solid. So next time someone tells you, oh, these are flimsy, they're talking through their ass. So yes, you've got two of these. One sits on the bottom, one gets pushed down on top of your grain. Lid, still exactly the same as before. You don't use it most of the time, only when mashing. You don't want a lid on for the boil. And before anyone asks why you won't get your boil off, you won't get the precursors for DMS evaporate away. The only other change that I'm aware of, and this is before I've actually used it, is this here. The lip seems to be a bit more substantial, and I've been told that the issue on the V1, where you could get halfway through mashing and this would actually manage to fall down inside your brewer, it would by that point be full of soaking wet malt, water, and you'll be then fighting to try and get it back out past these bits. Well, I've been told that problem's been fixed. What a lot of people did on the version 1 was just put a little bit of silicone pipe on a couple of these so that there wasn't room for the malt pipe to fall in. But they say that's been fixed, there's no need for that anymore. And as soon as I brew, we'll find out one way or the other. I'll see how much play there is. But looking at it actually sitting inside, it does seem a better fit now. So there you go. That there is the beer Torrent. Now I'll be doing some more videos over the next week or two, actually brewing with it, how to set it up, how to program it. Catch you again soon.